Hey, what's going on, guys? Josh here with Our Thoughts Matter. Real quick, wanted to do a video having Jonathan on here because it is a page that we both created, not just me or just him. It's both of us involved. So I'm gonna switch over and get it all on there. You guys should be able to see him now. What's up, Jonathan?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Uh,
How are y'all? So, Josh did something a couple days ago that really I'm proud of him for one, and I'm a pacer, so you'll probably see my video, me walking back and forth. But Josh, I'm proud of you for stepping up out of your comfort zone and doing that. Yesterday, the topic was courage, and I called Josh today and said, "Man, it's just it's hard to drive up courage. I want to do the same thing that you did because I know that it's helpful. I know I've written stuff down about mom and what happened and how I feel and things like that. It's just saying it out loud and getting the courage up. So I guess that's what I'm doing right now is getting the courage up to talk about it, to say about it. My side of the story is." I went into the military when I was 19. First deployment was to Germany, and then I went to Iraq. And my mom was through there the whole time. When I came back from Iraq was when I moved to Washington State, and then uh, when I was in Washington State, I was in at a training center doing some training with the military. And on my last exercise of this 4 week, training exercise, the last day, we're traveling to the last point we have to go to before we're exiting out of this place. And I have a feeling. I've got this bad feeling come across me that I need to call my mom. And I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have reception. I didn't have anything to contact my mom. Well, the next that was probably 3 o'clock in the morning. The next morning, woke up to my commander shaking my bed, saying, "Hey, I need you to come with me. I got a phone call that you need to make." And knowing my feeling the night before, I knew something was wrong at home. I thought it was my grandmother, honestly, because her health had been deteriorating and things of that nature. But I called home and I called my grandfather, and he said he told me my mom had basically overdosed on pills, and uh, I lost it. I'm a mama's boy. I was raised by my mom, my grandparents, but my mom was there. We struggled together. We've been through a lot. The circumstances of my mom's death are still a kind of touchy subject, so we won't get into that. But when she passed, I had two brothers to take care of. No one was there for them, so my first thought was action. Like I gotta be there for my brothers. I gotta be there for my family. So what I did was I put in a compassionate reassignment from Fort Lewis, Washington, to Fort Benning, Georgia, and I got it. Moved to Georgia, tried to help out my brothers. Josh moved in with me for a little bit. I had my other brother Christopher move in with me for a little bit. Just being closer to my grandparents, only 3 hours away, being able to be home every weekend, things like that. Uh, just trying to figure everything out after she passed, and trying to figure out how to move on. So um, I kind of dealt with my mother's passing in action with my brothers. Taking charge. I didn't really start to deal with the effects of my mother's death until probably a year and a half later. Um, Started going through some major depression. By this time, PTSD setting in from Iraq. All that stuff's going on. I'm starting to feel the effects. I'm starting to begin to get out of the military. I find out that I'm getting a medical discharge because of my injuries. All this stuff, and so all that stuff starts to come up from my mom's past, and it's just the depression, the doing things that to try to let go and try to forget what happened. Then comes why us? Why did you leave us? What did we do to make you leave us? What are we left behind for? And then you're never here. I don't get to see you. I don't get to touch you. My kids don't get to see you. My kids don't get to have their grandmother around. So there's many different stages that I went through, but it wasn't until recently um, that I dealt with my mom's death in the right way. Last Mother's Day. Mother's Day has always been a touchy day for me. Also, not only is it Mother's Day, but it's my birthday. May 10th, every 3-4 years, my birthday falls on Mother's Day. And so, again, I'm a mama's boy, down to it. So, I'm at Sarah's parents' house, and I'm there with my mother-in-law and the family and everything. And I love my mother-in-law to death. She's great and everything, but I can't. It's sometimes hard, and I've told her this, and it's sometimes hard for me, without my mother to accept the love and all that stuff, because I don't know how to deal with it. And so the family was around and eating dinner, and everything was calming down. The family was hanging out, and I just couldn't handle it anymore. So I walked out and I started walking around the yard, and I told myself, before that one day I was just going to have to deal with it. Well, that was the day to deal with it, because I just walked outside and was walking around the yard, and I started just talking. Just, I understand why you did I understand why you were, on the medication. I understand why you got addicted, because me, myself, being injured, going through the VA, being given pills and abusing them and things like that. I know exactly what my mother was going through, and that's what made it, I guess, a little bit easier to do what I did, because I know the feeling. I know the depression. I know the not wanting to be there anymore. I know this is it. So when I was walking around that yard, I just started talking, and I said, Mom, I know what you've done. I know that you didn't mean to hurt us. You were just trying to get free and trying to get this turmoil, but you've caused so much pain and suffering because of your decision and your choice. You may have wanted to leave and to let the pain go, but you've created so much more pain here and suffering here, and a lot of questions. I don't even remember the last conversation I had with my mom. I don't tell people bye on the phone, because I don't want to be that. I don't want that to be the last. And with my mom, I don't even remember if I told her I loved her before we hung up. I don't know if we had an argument before the last conversation we had. It's just I have no idea. I can't remember that last conversation. But it just, I forgave her, basically. I told her, I said, I forgive you. I love you, and I forgive you for what you've done. It still hurts. It's terrible. I don't have you here, but I do forgive you for what you've done. And I cried and I cried, and I just walking around the yard. And as soon as I told her that I forgave her, it really let a weight off of my shoulders. Forgiveness. I had no control over the situation. I was holding on to that experience and what we went through, because I was trying to hold on to my mom. She was gone. I'm never going to get a mom. I'm never going to have my mother back. No one will ever be able to replace her. She's gone. That was not of my doing. I had nothing to do with her outcome.
Yeah.
Now, so I forgave her. I moved on. Like I said, a lot of crying, but that weight lifted off. And now, afterwards, I don't think of it the same way. I don't. I love my mom, and yes, I wish she was here and all that. But look, my past experiences and my past circumstances do not determine who I am today. And my mother would not want me to be the way that I had been acting, thinking, mentally depressed,
Exactly.
things like that. My mom loved all. My mom would feed us kids, and then the rest of the food in the refrigerator would go to somebody else if somebody needed it before her.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just my mom was a loving person, and this is the last thing that she would want us to be going through.
Yeah.
Yet, yes, I deal with PTSD and stuff like that from the military, but honestly, my mother's passing, I wrote in my journal the other day about my mom, and what I wrote is the last line of my journal says, "If you were here, I think everything that I've been through would be a lot better because I had somebody to talk to." You know, I can still deal with that. I can still deal with that stuff. I choose the outcome of how that goes. And me forgiving my mom and changing my mentality, changing my mindset, and understanding what she had done, why she had done it, and just letting go.
Yeah.
I can't change anything about the past.
Yeah.
I can't change the circumstances. I can either use them to hinder my life and to hold me back, or I can use them as a positive and find out what there is to find out about and grow and learn from the experience.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm choosing to do today. I'm choosing to learn and to grow about what circumstances I've been through in life, not only just with my mother's death, but PTSD. Some of the mental stress and mental things that I deal with PTSD, and physical pain too. Physical pain will do a number on your mind because it just it puts that negative there because you're hurting. You don't want to move out. You don't want to go anywhere. So, but yeah, back to my mother. I just wanted to let everybody know that even though you have been through a bad experience, even though you have been through a bad circumstance, it does not determine who you are today. It does not determine what path you take forward. Our path forward is determined by us and you alone. And if you don't take charge, your mind will. And if you let your mind take charge, that's what my worst enemy is, my mind. I believe my worst enemy is my mind because I have to do something. People say, "Why do you pace all the time?" I'm pacing in a video right now. I know this is going to be visually.
Yeah, but it's okay though.
It's going to be visually messed up for the people, but I pace a lot, and people say, "Well, why can't you stop? Why do you keep moving? Why do you always have to have something to do? Why can't you slow down?" Well, if I slow down, my mind takes over, and I have to have something productive going on in my life and at the moment to keep my mind at rest and at ease. And I have to choose to put that positivity and that I know will help me. I choose to put it there because I look, I may have bad days, but I don't have a bad life. Bad days do not rule the outcome of my life. So I just try to make them better, positive. And I've just taken a choice to deal with my issues in a positive light and change the way I think about them mentally. I've done the same with PTSD, and we'll do other videos later about the mental stress. But I just wanted to get on here today. I know it's kind of long, a little rambling, but this is the first video that I've done. So please, take it easy on me. And I just wanted to tell everybody how I dealt with my mom's passing. Like I said, I forgave her. I love her. She's my mother. Why wouldn't I forgive her? I understand what she's going through. understand what she did and why it happened. It's just the self being selfish, wanting to touch her, wanting to hold her, wanting her to see my kids, things of that nature. Just I guess the main message is change the way you think of your situations and your experiences in your life. That's all it comes down to is taking the high road. And is it easy? No, it takes hard work. Everybody wants instant gratification these days. There is no explain to me instant gratification without work. You have to work. Everything's not going to be instant. You're not going to see a payoff immediately. It took me years and years to deal with my mother's death. I mean, it's 2017. She passed in 2006. So a lot of years of just mentally just drained and bogged down because of the experiences that I went through.
Yeah.
So just change the outcome of the way you think, and things will get better.
They will get better, man. And I want to thank you for coming on here and doing the video, dude. Because like when I did the video the other day, like it was so hard for me because after I uploaded the video, like I was telling you, like I didn't even really care what people said. Like I was just in a daze for the rest of the day because it brought that back to my mentality.
That's right.
It brought that back to me, and I know it's gonna do the same for you, man. And like me and Jonathan, we talk every day and we commute together because that's the whole reason why we started the page was because he wanted to start giving back. And I wanted to get involved too, and like I'm glad you did the video, dude. I'm very proud of you as well because it's hard to get that off your chest, man. And all of our family members, like we dealt with it differently.
That's right.
So it's good to hear both sides of the story. But yeah, guys, show some respect for Jonathan. If you're not noticing, he's wearing the Wounded Warrior Project. Show some love and support for those guys too, guys. We'll do a video again pretty soon. But thanks again, Jonathan. I really appreciate you coming on here, man, and doing a video. Now everybody gets to see your face, so it's a good
man. Hey, I'm back. I mean, it's not the best, but
Now we're some good-looking guys, man. You can't disagree with that. Yeah, for sure. All right, buddy. I love you, man, and I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. But we'll do another video soon, guys. All right.